A question for you, by the way, from Steve's Long Stay Workshop. When is a Dansette not a Dansette? Well, this is a bush with bush rubbed off and Dansette written on the front in crayon. So this Dansette is a Dansette, but at the same time it's a bush. This is the one. It's a Dansette Capri, which is a bush of some kind. Although it's Dansette, it's obviously a bush. You can tell by the front here, but with a mid-range Dansette BSI deck in it, which, like many decks of this era, is frozen solid. Does not turn. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything. Because that turntable is absolutely stuck solid. The reason for that, by the way, is grease, but not the film, by the way, the substance. But in spite of that, if I put this in, we'll see what we do get, if anything. All that is solid there. Well, the app's doing something. Stylus. Isn't doing very much. Now, with decks of this kind, record players of this kind, there are certain things which, of course, never know where we're starting from. I think the amp in this is valved. I know some of them were, but I know when I got the thing apart and have a look. But the deck on these, by the way, the problem with these is usually the cartridge. I'll check that and find out a bit later on. That's something which we can do. It's mono, so but I can't. You can put a stereo one in and wire it from mono. That's something else to do. And the first thing we do, therefore, is look at this deck and find out why it's not doing anything it should. Now, with these decks, it's easy enough to simply pull and pull and pull stuff until it works. Anyone can do that. That is not the way you do it. It just is not. The first thing you do, you take the turntable off. There should be a clip here. With that off, the turntable should come. Also notice with this one, the needle in the middle here is moving, but it's solid. So now, of course, what we've got to do at this point now is simply get the thing apart and have a look under here, because what's happened is that in the middle of a turntable here, I'll just come in so you can see. Hang on. The clip is here, yeah, in the middle of the turntable, and this should just lift straight, but again, it is solid. Now, one thing which you don't do with these decks is force anything. It will come, but basically, what you need is time and patience. So you've got to be patient. It will come out, but you've got to give it time and patience. To pull it, by the way, you might ruin the deck. So always time and patience, as much as you need. It will come up, but you have to spend time to make sure that it is. Very, very important with these. So what I'll do is I'll get a hairdryer, wherever it is, and we'll try and get this turntable off. And when it comes off, that's it. You see, when the turntable comes off, then of course it is clean and clean and clean and clean and clean. It's simple as that. That's all that goes on with these. You just want everything to be cleaned. Well, this is the turntable here. It's come off. There you are. comes off the middle here like that. We'll come to that in a minute. And this rim inside here is driven by this wheel here, the drive wheel, which is here, the idler, which is here, which drives the whole lot. That wheel drives everything off the speed control. That's why the auto change works faster on 78 than it does on 33. It's all driven off this wheel here onto this here, which controls the rest of the unit basically. And this and all this needs to be well and truly cleaned, as does this, by the way. So now all you've got to do, go in here, clean the inside of there, drop of grease, and that's something else which you've got to do. And also this here, the turn tube. So you see, if I turn it, you see now, you see that, you see that comes down like that, you see like that, and back up, and there you are. It goes right like you see. That's done from underneath. Even with the thing on top, that works. Okay. So there you are. So then that goes, and now that should now click off, and hopefully go and sit down. It does, and up again, you see, and then again. Okay. That's all that is done through the position of this, the rotor arm here, and this here. So all this has to come out and be cleaned. That's the first thing we do with these. Get all this working, and then look at the cartridge or the stylus here. I think it's the cartridge. I'm not so sure, but that's the next thing we have to do. So now this has to be cleaned. That has to be cleaned. And with these decks, record players also, if you look underneath, I'll just put that in there for a minute, the base plate comes off as well, which gives you access to the amplifier. In many sets, it's here at the front here. With this one, the valve amp is, I'll just see if I can show you. See, it's there. You see, that's the valve up there. You see, this one, it's not going to transform it. This is like the radio sets of the same era that has a dropper resistor as well. This is how it works. With a lot of these, actually, the motor also operates as drop-in resistor for the heater as well. That's something else to look for. That's just with the block. That might be okay, might not. I might change it. I don't know if yet. Andy, by the way, Vintage Electronics always does. If they're okay, I tend to leave them. U85 rectifier, that's halfway, but that's halfway rectifier. Always halfway on the U-range valves, and of course a UCL82, which is this one here. And look underneath it. I find all the capacitors in question here are all the mustard ones, which came from Philips, and they're usually okay, but always check them as well. So now we've been through it all. We've got a plan of action. So let's go on with it. So I will now go and get some paper towels from the kitchen, and we can start cleaning this thing up. That's all it needs. All it needs mechanically for all this on the other side to be cleaned and re-greased. Only put grease where grease is meant to go, by the way. Always, that again is very important. Always put grease only where grease is meant to go. Otherwise, you'll have a whole lot of trouble. With the turntable off, it's down here. There it is. And inside that, by the way, it's been cleaned out there. This rim here has been cleaned. That's this rim here, and through here has been cleaned as well. So that is now ready to go back on at some point. But the one thing which causes problems with these decks is the oil change mechanism, and it's this wheel here that sorts out things like position of the stylus and everything else, and when all done here. And if you look, you see, the wheel turns the turntable, and the turntable, the turntable in the middle here has that in the middle there, you see, middle there, and it turns that like that. Yeah, I'll just put it so you can see that, like that. You see, so that turns this, and this turns the auto change around it. It's quite simple, but very ingenious actually. But it does give us problems, and the main one, of course, is that it's gets very mucky, the grease gets dry, the whole lot has to be cleaned out, the whole lot. Like I said before, with these decks, like any other deck of this kind, cleanliness is next to godliness. Everything has to be spotlessly clean on these. This deck has not played a record since 80s maybe, or 90s, and all the grease inside, which I'm now bringing off this, it all has to come off. Every little bit, without fail, every bit of it has to come off. Has to be clean, has to be clean, has to be clean, has to be clean and cleaned and cleaned again, so nothing else comes off. Vitally important. Has to be absolutely spotless. This two here, with the turntable mounts, this two has to be absolutely spotless. Absolutely spotless. The wheel itself here, you see, the groove in the middle of it there, and so that you can see, that drives this here, which operates. See, operates the turntable. That does that. That seems to be okay, because I went underneath just now and did all that, so that's okay. But this bit is the bit which creates all the problems here. Also, underneath bottom of here, there's a thing with 4 or 5 iron ball bearings in. These two have to be spotless and clean. Clean, 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 and clean some more. All of it has to be absolutely spotless. I mean, I think I'm being a bit over the top with it, but it really does have to be absolutely spotless. Every bit of it. Every single bit has to be absolutely spotless. This grease goes hard. Now, when you're putting it back together, by the way, with putting grease and oil on, things like that it seems to be okay. That's okay, right? So that's okay now, you see. Now it's this bit here. So now we've got to clean this up here. This again has to be spotless, and I mean absolutely spotless. I can't stress it enough. You play guess by now that I'm stressing this for a reason, and the reason is that this has to be absolutely spotless. Absolutely. When it goes together again, by the way, all this lot here, it has to be absolutely spotless, all of it. That's okay now, that's okay. That's because I went underneath and did all that, but now I've got to sort out this thing here. So get it absolutely spotless. No matter how much of this stuff you use, get this absolutely spotless. This is the sort of situation where cleaning things up properly now will save you or whoever this record player belongs to, if it's not yours, down the line, a lot more trouble and a lot less for you, because it won't come back and say, you fixed it. You know, that won't happen because it's absolutely spotless. By the way, this is ordinary kitchen paper, nick for the kitchen, and it's great for this job, it really is. It's right in there. And get this absolutely spotless. got to be absolutely spotless. And then, and only then, you put it back together with a bit of grease in the right place on the turntable, will work fine. Also, while you're here, by the way, I also want to check the needle is in the right place, because this can turn, and when it turns, the needle in the middle here, the spindle, doesn't work properly, so that has to be checked as well. So first of all, get this absolutely spotless, which I've nearly done here. Absolutely spotless. Absolutely spotless. And then of course it goes back on there, and hopefully it'll work. It should do. There's no reason why it shouldn't, you know. But don't forget, these decks have probably not been used for like 10, 20, 30 years. So as well as the grease drying out and going cold, everything seizes up. So that's something else which you have to be aware of, shall we say. That has to be spotless. That goes onto there like that. That's okay. That's okay. The whole thing has got to be built loose. Be well loose, basically. Also, you've got to be as loose as loose can be. All of it. And that goes back on there. And then we're over it. Then, of course, on here, there's another spring clip that comes off, and these two have to be clean here as well. So that's clean. That's clean. Right to middle, that's okay. Goes right to middle, that's okay. Getting unpacked, by the way, it's a little bit of trial and error here until you get it right, but get it right you always do in the end, because of course the thing has got to work. With the record player switched on now, I'm back together temporarily. We'll see what we're up to with it. Now the record, by the way, is Stay for More Party Dancing with Sid Gately and his music. I don't know if it's YouTube or not. It's on Pi, but I don't. If anyone gets that, then I'll be surprised. But what they do with these decks, there are the three controls here: 12-inch, the 12-inch record, as you can see, 33, and flick to auto. Got the record. Then it goes, and there we go. We won't see very much, but that means therefore that the needle is dropped in the right place, and of course it should pick it up in the right place as well, which is what I'm doing now. So when this track ends now, it should pick up and put the needle back on the holster here. The screws under there, by the way, it's just for this. One is for height of travel back and forth, and one is for needle pickup. There we are. That's when they come back and land exactly back on there. It does. Okay, so that's the deck rather better than it was. Now also with this, by the way, I know it's with the thing on full, this pickup, that is not mains pickup. Put the volume down. If we mains pickup, we still get something, a loud hum, but we've not. So the compressors on this are okay. But with it up like that, you see now, it's pick up from here, off the wiring from the start. So the problem is here. The amplifier itself, by the way, I will check it, but I don't think it's got much of a problem. For the people who go change all the capacitors, well, on this one, as I said before, they're all the Philips mustard ones, which are usually okay, but I will check. So we take response record, stay for more powerful dances off it, and by the way, that was a quick step in the drive you might just about have heard. And we then decide to get that in the queue, right? And I'll finish the deck off, get it nice and clean, and again from there. By the way, with these by the way, where they've been kept is also an issue with them as well. If they've been kept in somewhere dry and warm, then there's more chance of them working or being made to too much trouble. It's been kept in say a shed. So that's something else which you need to consider. But we're going to go without too much trouble. Garage decks, by the way, working the same sort of way, so there's no actual problem with the decks. It's just the mate. That's all. The two mates, all three. The Garage and BSR do it this way. The Colorado decks, by the way, which Colorado was sold to manufacture to America, they actually usually use the sense that they started the next record, dropped it, and then put the needle on. So you could, if you wanted, to put different records on, but only if the big ones, as it were first, because one day dropped, it was going further. That's something else for you to be aware of. But with this now, you know, it's almost there deck wise. So now it's amplifier and pickup and stylus, which are also problems on these. The pickups, by the way, on these crystal and ceramic cartridges, do tend not to last. Pistol in particular. There are things we can put in which might make the unit not quite as lead, but certainly usable. Philips cartridges in particular are really good fun to deal with in a not fun way, particularly the ones where they tilt the front of the pickup. If you see one of those ear junction and the pickup is faulty, leave it there. That's it from the top, just leave it there. But anything else you can usually just do something with. This deck, by the way, is 1970 something. I don't know what it's at. So it's a 1971, but this is quite very much an older style amplifier here, so it could be anything. But if I was to power it again, like so, there we go. The hopefully it'll switch on. There we are. That's going away very well, that, by the way, so we'll leave that. Now, first thing we do is look on the 8-bit transformer and try and find so look, 218 there, okay. So we know that's okay. We know the smoothers are okay because, of course, with the volume control down, which is that one, there's very little. The volume control is on the in between the two stages amplification that there are on this. The two stages of amplification are in the one valve here, which is the UCL82. Now, with the UCLCs, with them in series like this, unlike the ECLs and the EZs. But when that valve is taken out, the heaters on them both go out, and so you can't actually do it the same way regarding checking here with the pins up. So you've got to be careful. What you can do, however, is you can look and see what. Okay, fine. Because there should be somewhere here, should be some. I think what you can do, if you're very, very quick, is to look up the values of the pins on online. UCL82, UCL, need 2 valve, right? Valve Museum, yeah. Good then. And now, of course, we've got the ones that we want to look at are pins 9. That's the child side of this. Pin 6 and pin 7. So, therefore, there should be somewhere here. There should be volts on this valve here. So if we put it out, yes, it's getting warm. There we go. Right, so 290, okay, yeah. 293 and 319. It's still until that regular rectifier cools down, there will be something. As you see now, as the rectifier cools down, that voltage also drops as well, as you can see. If I leave it, it'll drop down to 0 or something like it. Remember also, as well as the that, of course, there's charge on the capacitors here as well. So again, there can be something. Right. Anyway, while we're here with it off like that, grid 1 of the triode is pin 1. Sort of noting it, and it doesn't. Okay. Now, grid 1 on pin 3 should also have note on it, which it doesn't. Okay. You see, it's still voltage on these pins here. So very quickly now we can see that certain capacitors on this system are alright. So this valve CC system is probably okay. If you look underneath, actually, I don't know if you can see it on the. If I was to link it, this would turn it over. You'll probably see the capacitors on this are the ones you find in Philips tape recorders, and they are usually okay. So this valve does look as though it's had a rough life, but it appears to work, and so I'll put it back in. There we are, and that lot should be all right. So now we've got to look at the pickup. Now, if I was to plug it back in again like that, now you see, like that, straight away you see the heaters are up because the circuit is made. By the way, the motor on these also doubles as a drop circuit for the heaters, so that's something else to be aware of. Now, here is the pickup for the Amplifier is here. So therefore, if we go somewhere like there, we shall get some. Yeah, and there. Okay. And we know from that, therefore, that the problem is on the pickup. Therefore, it's either the cartridge or the stylus. Using in these with some of this old, I will of course tend to want to replace both. But that's it. So amp, very quickly, quick look at it. Looks okay. Obviously, when I power it up, I won't know for sure. But for the moment, that looks perfectly okay. Which is the amps usually are on these on techs of this age. Stuff from years ago, of course, with certain kind of capacitors in them, like Hunt's capacitors or paper caps. Yeah, change them. But this one, it's a bit newer, and the caps in it, the caps in this, the Phillips caps, the mustard coloured ones, are usually okay. So nothing much to worry about there. So that lot is okay. But then we've got to look at the pickup and see what happens if I if I now take wires off the back of the pickup and check there, this would also be the same buzz test. Then of course we know it's the stars from the pickup. We have here now the cartridge disconnected, and we do what's called the buzz test. The buzz test is quite simple. Get a wet finger, or dry if you want, and it is perfectly safe, by the way. Get one of the wires. There you go, have it that, you see. That's yours. The amp is working up to here, so all it can be now is this here. So now we just want to get one of those. If I've got one, I'll put it in. If not, I'll order one, and we'll put it in, and then this will be done. It just wants cleaning up then, and then it will go to its new owner, Chris, by the way. Chris, who said he wants a Dansette. Well, this is a Dansette, Chris, so this one is yours when it's done. I'll get it as clean as I can for you, but then of course it's yours to play Northern Soul records on. Now with the pickup in place and together again, with a new stylus actually. Thank you very much, Andy, for that, by the way, much appreciated. Good sir. By the way, do check out Andy's channel, Vintage Electronics Repair the Whip. By the way, he's much more up on record players than I am, but going back to this one, it's new stylus. These cartridges, by the way, I think BC12, they come in 3 versions: low, medium and high, LM and H. This I think is a high. But now of course I've got Sid Getley in his music on the player, and so let's see if it works, shall we? It's always a bit which makes me nervous, you know. Let's see if it comes and plays me a quick step. Come on. There we go. I think it's going to. There we are. A quick step. At the end, of course, it should click off as well. Yeah, it does. Okay. So it's okay on a 33. Okay. So remove the 33 and put it hopefully where it won't get too badly damaged, and put on the rather scratched Test 45. Andy Williams, by the way, and what's on the other side of me, so I can't play a lot of this, but we can make sure that it plays it okay. By the way, with these also, it doesn't select its spindle size, record size. You have to do it manually here. So it's set 7-inch, and we'll try that again. Okay, so Andy Williams, the other side of me. Again, let's hope it works. Please work. There we are. So it should start playing in a second. Come on. That's Andy Williams there on the other side of me. And again at the end of it, it should of course, there you are. I'm back and it's just in its place. By the way, now that is sorted out and apparently working, another thing I must mention, inside here there are 2 screws. One is the height of this, we're travelling back and forth, and another one here is pick up and put down. It's all one screw, and so that's, if you need to check, if you need to check those, by the way, I don't on this, just give it half a turn one way and see what happens. It's the most simple job which takes hours to do. But this is now working quite well actually. I've changed no parts of this at all. I obviously didn't need them, but there we go. So what's this one? A party barn dance medley. Right, let's have a party barn dance medley. There's no bounce down frame, but we'll have a bound dance anyway. Okay, so, and again, that's, there it's 7 inches here, so it goes to middle. So again, we need to do this one again. I'm used to the slightly older decks which do automatically. That's my excuse. So we'll put that on again like that. And now at 33 breaths per second, breaths per minute, there should be a part of down band badly coming up. I hope. And if YouTube pick this up, I'm not making any money, but it'll get lost. So much okay. And so now it's a case of cleaning it up, putting it together and give it a long chest. Well, this is it, the Dansette Capri from 1970 something. I can't quite make out the stamp on the deck. I think it's 1973, but I'm not sure about that. Dansette, they bought it by Bush Rank, and this is one of their models. But it's a Dansette. And if anybody who wants to play Northern Soul records on it, this is the one to use because this was a red at that time. So without further ado, this thing is cleaner than it was, and it's going to go off to its new owner. So for you, Chris, here is of course your Dansette, about to make history again with Sid Gately and his music. Sid Gately, by the way, does actually look a bit like Roy Orbison. What do you think? Yeah. Anyway, I don't know if this one is copyrighted or not, but I'm sure we'll find out. But enjoy it. Give me a clean up first, of course, a bit more than I can do. But until then, just enjoy it. Nice in the world while I've got it here. Bye bye, take care. And Happy New Year, everyone, by the way. And maybe let's look forward to lots of projects for everyone in 2021. And no virus. Bye bye.